Hi, welcome back to Open Hand Farm. Today I'm down in the basement and I'm going to be up potting or transplanting some seedlings into some bigger pots. And if you watch my video on planting onion seeds, I have to say that I don't know that I have done a great job of making that work. This is the first year that I've done that. And some of them look really good. Some of them did not germinate. I think maybe I got the seeds a little too deep. I don't know what it was. But some of them don't look too bad. Can you see those long, hairy things? I'm going to be giving them a haircut. My friend that gave me the pointers, don't be disappointed in me, Cindy, please. She said that they plant theirs and they leave them growing in the same container until they put them in the ground in April. The way mine look, I'm afraid they're not going to make it till April. This is one of my bigger containers, and there's several there. There's more than one in some cases, but some of them look a little rough. I don't know if you can see this one right here, but it's like the roots are barely intact and the onion's kind of sitting on top of the soil. And there are several that are like that. So I feel like I need to transplant these and put them deeper in so that the onion can actually grow better. I hope I'm not wrong. Cindy, I'm sorry I didn't ask you about this, but I'm gonna do it. You might see over my shoulder here something green and full. I do know how to grow kale. That is one of my favorite things to grow. I can't seem to ever mess it up, which is a blessing because I love it. So these should have been transplanted about a week ago. You guys, this is the way my gardening goes. I start things, and ideally, when you see the first real leaves come on, then you should transplant them. Well, I have, let me see if I can show you this up close. So on this plant here, you can see this rounded leaf was the seedling leaf. So when it first pops up, it looks like this, only much smaller. Well, then this set of leaves came on and I should have transplanted it. But instead, it now has several other real leaves on it. They got to be moved. They're not going to make it so close together, so many plants, if I don't do something with them. So we're going to be putting these in their own individual pots, and I'm hoping that they can go out soon and won't have to stay very long in the greenhouse. And I also have beets. I love beets. So this is two kinds of beets. I have golden beets and I have cylindrical red beets this year, something new that I'm trying. I always do my beets 3 in a hole. Then what happens is the beets form, one of them will grow bigger. You pull that one out very gently. It leaves the other two. One of those will grow bigger. You pull that one out. And the last one you pull after it grows. That way you get 3 times the harvest in the same amount of space. I saw this, Charles Dowding does it, and I saw some other people do it too. I don't know how it would work for you, but it works great for me. So these need to be repotted also. I need to get these little necks down in there a little bit deeper, just like with the onions. So let's get some potting done. We're getting ready to transplant some plants. Mark's mixing up my mixture that I used last year. So I'll leave a link to that video in the description box. as to what all's in here. Mark got my soil all mixed up for me, and it's ready to go. In the fall sometime I did a video on cleaning the greenhouse in which I washed all of my pots to get them ready. Today is a day that I'm very happy that I spent a few hours cleaning pots in the greenhouse so that they're done and I can grab them and transplant now without having to wash them first. I'm going to start with the onions, and I just went ahead and filled these pots to about here. I have this little tool that helps me poke holes in the soil. So I've decided that since it's okay for them to be close together still, I'm going to put 3, see if you can see my 3 holes there. I'm going to put 3 in each container. That way I don't have to have 200 and something containers, although that's how many seeds we planted. I don't think we've had that many germinate. So we won't have to have that many seedling pots to deal with until April. Because these were planted in egg cartons, and the purpose of that was to be able to put the egg carton in the ground, I'm not going to transplant these. But for the ones that don't seem to be deep in the soil, like this one has its roots actually up off the ground, I'm going to put extra dirt in there. So I'm just going to top it off and give it something to be living in instead of resting on top. So I'm just going to do that. And that way it will have soil. So I'm going to go through and add soil to several of these. Okay, now I'm going to give them a little haircut. They need to be 3 inches. So I might be going a hair below that, but I think that's okay. I'm going to take a picture of these tonight, and I'm going to see if they just kind of really enjoyed this process and perk up better tomorrow. Let me give them a little water. All right, let's see what happens here. I'm also going to do that to the other container. I don't have as many in this one. These are the yellow of Parma, and I feel like they did not do as well as the Australian brown. Okay, now let's start on these bigger ones. And I'm just going to use this little forky thing that I've got here and pull these loose. Look at the roots on this, and those were actually coming out the bottom of this pan, which is another reason why I was concerned about having them in such little soil. So I'm going to use this and just put all those roots down in there, in that hole, and close it up, and grab another one. Now that one doesn't have as long a root. That one's got a nice one. All right, kind of pack this around these. I'm just kind of packing the soil around the onions. Make sure there's no air in there. Okay, I also need to give these a little bit of a haircut. I will place these in a tray like this and give them water and keep on going. Now, my friend Cindy said that her husband was feeding their onions also. So I have been off and on feeding mine fish emulsion every few days. So I will probably in a couple of days go ahead and feed them that to kind of give them another boost of growth. I'm really surprised at the differences in the root balls on these, which is why I'm seeing the difference in the greens. I'm sure some have great roots and some don't have very many. So that's what I'm trying to help the situation here. Okay, we got them all transplanted. Now we'll give them a drink. And I'm happy that they all fit in one tray, because then I can leave them over here in my light box instead of worrying about them getting too cold in the greenhouse. So I will go ahead and put them there. I have 2 more trays that I need to do, but I will not bore you with that. This I need to also do a little bit of transplanting on. This is blue salvia, and these are snapdragons. So I'm not going to transplant them yet, but on this you can see where I was saying earlier, this is the leaf that comes up when the seeds first come. You can see it happening right here, how tiny they are, but that's what they look like. Then they get these other leaves that are part of the real plant, what their leaves will look like. Now, as I'm looking at this, I'm seeing something here that looks like kale. I don't know how that happened. This is blue salvia. This one, kale. This one, blue salvia. So honestly, I'm just going to, because I don't want to disturb the roots of the blue salvia yet, I'm pinching off the kale. I've got plenty of kale. And I'm going to let these grow a little bit more because I don't want to disturb all of these brand new ones that are coming up. And I have brand new snapdragons coming up also. And these do not have their real leaves yet. If you look closely, they're coming in between there, but they're not there yet. So I'm going to leave these for now. Okay, let's address this kale. I love this. Okay, there are 2 different kinds here. There is a red Russian and a blue curl. And I know the red Russian because it has a more red colored vein in it, and blue curl does not. So I'm not going to worry too much about labeling these. Now let me show you how we're going to deal with these. I went ahead and picked 2 of them up because I know their roots are going to be intertwined. And I'm just going to slowly kind of shake and pull. I'm putting 1 in each cup, not doubling up on these. And I'm sinking the stem so that it will get strong and really hold well. I don't want a long spindly neck on this. I want to bury it up to these leaves. I don't have to be as gentle with these. They're very forgiving. I've got several in a clump here, so I'm going to pull up the clump and kind of shake them loose. Now, because one of these plants is kind of small and tiny, I will put them together, just a buddy system. In case one doesn't make it, the other one will. I feel like I could say that growing kale is pretty much foolproof. At least that's what I have found for myself. Okay, here's another couple small ones. Let's share those. All right, that gives me a whole tray of the Red Russian, and honestly, that's probably all that I need right now. I just about used all the red. As you can see, these are the only ones left. They're just little tiny ones. Now, if I have enough room, I will go ahead and use these. Otherwise, I might just give them to my rabbits in the morning as a snack. This blue Scotch curl, I will plant exactly the same. So I'm going to set it aside for now, and we'll look at the beets. We'll start with the yellow beets. Now, on this, I want to be careful to only pull up one grouping that I planted. Now, this one actually has more than 3 in it. It has about 5 in it because, you know, those seeds, they just get in there. So I'm going to pull 2 out. Now, I might come up with one that doesn't have 3, and I'll add those 2 to it. Okay, let's poke these in there. And I want them to be in there good. I don't want spindly legs on them either. Okay, it's another little group. Feel like I'm separating hair for a ponytail or something. Trying to get these together, not separated. Now this one has 2 really strong ones, a very weak one, and then one that's not as strong. So I'm going to grab one of these that I pulled out of another group, and replace it, so that I am planting the best ones right now. That's going to give me an even better chance of having good quality produce. Beets can be direct sown into the garden, but I like to have a jump start in the spring because I just love beets. So I always start the first batch in the house, and then I get beets sooner when I put the rest outside. Soil that I'm using, this mixture that I put together, is what I used in here to plant my seeds in, and you'll see it's very loose and it's got a lot of coconut core in it. Then what I do to make it into a potting soil is I add a few things. I add some azomite and I add some fertilizer or compost. So what I added to this was some mushroom compost that I found at a store near me. I've never used the mushroom compost, but I've heard it's really good. So that's what I'm going with this time around. There we go. Give them some water, and I will keep working and show you when I'm all done. I did want to show you up closer where I'm looking to see the division of the groups. So you can see here that I have a group of 5 actually. So I would go under that whole group and bring it up. And then if I want to divide it, I can. So that's what that looks like. So while I'm down here in my greenhouse planting area, I have some seeds that I need to plant. And I'm a little late with these too. You guys, I'm just going to be honest. That's the story of my life when it comes to gardening. I can't help it. So here's my little baggie that I put the date on that these were supposed to be planted. Yes, 2/13. I'm weeks late. I don't care, I'm doing it anyway. Agastacia, which is a type of anise, and they are beautiful little flowers. Hummingbirds love them and they smell so good. And the other one is eggplant. I'm just gonna plant them and we'll see what happens. This is a box that I took the beets out of. I'm adding some of my seed starting mixture. It's not the same as what I'm putting the seedlings in as I up pot them. This does not have the mushroom compost in it. Now I'm just gonna water this down a bit. That'll help hold the holes that I make to put the seeds in. And I'm just gonna use this piece of shim to kind of make lines in here. And I'll go the depth of what the seed is supposed to be planted. So eggplant seeds are supposed to be planted 1/4 inch deep. And the Agastacia is supposed to be sown on the surface. So you don't have to cover it up. It needs the light to germinate. So I'll put the eggplants here. And yep, we'll just do 3 rows. That'll work. See how many seeds I've got here. Now these are going to be really kind of small seeds. I might not need 3 rows. I might not have enough. So I'm going to plant them about an inch or so apart. And in some places, I'm accidentally dropping 2. That just happens. Kind of spread them out on your hand better, and then you can just grab 1. I will say that a lot of the seed starting that I do, the charts that I follow, the dates that I choose to plant them are usually the earliest dates that you can sow the seeds. So if I'm a week or so late, it'll be fine. There's 3 rows of eggplant. This is a Rosita eggplant. Now, I'm just going to surface sow all over here the Agastache because I love it. And I want some. Last year I had 2 plants of it. And that was not enough. Do you see how tiny these seeds are? I'm going to maybe not use this whole area. I'm just going to kind of scatter them here. Let's see. I might as well empty the bag. And so, yes, this whole area, I'm just going to say has Agastache. Okay, now this area, I want to cover up where the seeds are. I'm not just like compacting the soil over them. I'm just lightly covering them and just broadly water all of this. And we'll add some labels. Now, because I'm going to know that there are 2 different plants coming up here, I'm just going to write them both on the same little name tag here. Okay, I'm going to turn this around because I did it this way. So I'm going to know that this is the Agastache, and then over here on this side is the eggplant. And I'm just going to stick it there. And that's ready to go. The problem is I'm running out of room. I have beets and kale up here. I have onions all down here. So I guess some of these are going to have to go to the greenhouse. So I wanted to show you, I have this handful of beet seedlings that I did not plant because of assorted reasons. So I am going to take them upstairs. I'm going to wash them, put them in the fridge, and tomorrow I'm going to make a quesadilla type thing for breakfast, and I'm going to throw them in there. So look for that video. It should be really yummy. Okay, I've been working late. Here's the onions I did yesterday. These are the ones I'm not doing anything with at this point. These are the ones that I took care of today, and up here is where I put my new seeds that I just planted. So this is the Agastache and the eggplants. Now let's go out to the greenhouse. I'm sorry it's dark, and I'm also sorry that my greenhouse is falling apart temporarily. We're working on building a new one if our schedules can coincide with the weather. So here is the red Russian kale, the Scotch blue curl kale. These are assorted beets, red cylindrical beets, and golden beets. So these will stay out here because I know that they are frost tolerant. It's actually 59 in here, and that's about where it stays. let me show you this. Snapdragons. They're just like going crazy in this random plant of snapdragons next to my huge plant of rosemary. I am going to have to order some smaller cups because all the ones that I have are really bigger than I want to use. Now, I have used for the past 4 years these kind of solo plastic cups, and I just drilled holes in the bottom of them. And these are the only ones I have left because they get messed up. But after 4 years, I think that's pretty good. So in a couple of days, I have a whole bag of seeds here to plant. These I need to direct sow. I'm hoping to do that Saturday. I found a problem with my new method of putting seeds in a Ziploc bag and writing when to plant them. So these are the ones that you just saw me plant, which I knew were late because I saw the date on there and I'm a couple weeks late, but I did it anyway. Now, this bag, see the date, 3/3. Let's see, today is the 5th. I direct sowed these yesterday, so on the 4th instead of the 3rd, so that's not bad. But here's my problem. This bag of seeds, when you look at it, what date do you see? I see 3/4. So I thought, okay, I got these direct sowed yesterday. I'll go ahead and start all of these today. So I pick up the bag and now look at it. Well, this is how it had been laying on my table. So that's when I thought they needed to be planted. But in reality, I'm 2 weeks late on this one also. Now this is important because it's my peppers, you guys. I should have already started them. When I mark my seedlings, if I have 2 rows, I'm sure to put that on there. Or like this row has 2 different things planted in it. The Tam jalapeno, I planted 6 seeds. And with the Nadapinos, I planted 4. And if there's just 1 row, it's just the name. All right, guys, I'm up to date in my planting. Behind, but up to date. Well, I guess that's it for now. I got a lot of work done. My clothes changed within the video because I did not get them all done last night. I had to come back down tonight after dinner. I had a really busy day and I thought I would get down here earlier and I didn't. So it doesn't matter, it's done. And that is progress. And I am so happy to have plants in the greenhouse. That's exciting. Like that means there is hope, there is life. Spring is coming and I'm going to have food. That is the best. I hope all is going well. If you are starting some seedlings or starting your garden or planning your garden, I pray blessings on it. And until next time, blessings on you and yours.